Hey, welcome to the Cam Otis Show. We're a father-son business podcast where we talk with other lifelong learners about making an impact and solving big problems. And we're lucky enough, and by the way, I will say this, I did not get the memo, and no, this is not St. Patrick's Day, the day we're recording it. Uh, so, but we do have back with us Torrance Hart, and Tori, it is so good to see you again. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Cam and Otis, thank you guys so much for having me on again. Our first conversation was so incredibly fun, and it's been a heck of a year since then, so I'm excited to be back on with you.
Good, good. Because I was thinking this morning as I was refreshing my memory about things we had talked about. But the one thing that jumped into my mind was a feeling of abundance, because when your whole business is around gifts, and you cannot give a gift if you're living in scarcity. And as I was scrolling through what seemed like it's like, dang, I'm going through page after page for all the really folks. I mean, really, I don't, there is nothing sinister or snide or facetious in what I'm saying. The really, really cool gifts they have. But I just had to think, how in the world did you come up with all these ideas for gifts?
Well, thank you so much for that. Yeah, for anyone who didn't hit the first episode, I'm the founder of Teak Twine, and we help companies with their corporate gifting needs. And our best ideas come from our clients. I mean, we come up with some pretty cool stuff when we put our heads together, but we have clients who come to us and say, like, we're doing a sales offsite in Miami and we need a 80s themed Miami inspired gift. I mean, when you have ideas like that to go off of, it just makes it so easy and such a delight. And the companies we work with are so fun. They're so creative. They're so modern, and they come to us with some amazing ideas that we have the pleasure of just getting to riff on. And you're right. Like, they come to us with such a generous spirit in what they're trying to do. And, a lot of times they're also trying to increase their own brand awareness or sales. But there's also that spirit of abundance and generosity that you were talking about, where, they want to tell people about their company, but they also just want to thank their employees or thank their clients. There's not an ROI calculator that's running in their head. It feels good, it works, but it also feels good, and that makes it fun for us and for our clients.
How do you work to not necessarily limit those expectations, but get them to a point where it's, they come in with these crazy ideas and you kind of like, hey, here's realistically what we can do. And then still, doing it in a way that, really exceeds those expectations, because that's what it really is about. You want to deliver more than what they're thinking, but sometimes they probably come in with crazy ideas. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And honestly, I think most of the time our clients come to us with sometimes a low expectation of what corporate gifting is because of what it's been for so many years. We all have this idea that corporate gifting is a branded pen and a mouse pad and stuff that people never use. And
Hey,
so
easy.
Hey, but that's a Yeti. That's cool. And so we have the really fun job of adding something to a gift, like an inflatable pool koozie, or a fun chocolate bar that looks like a cassette tape. I mean, these things that we've found that we get to pitch to them. But you're right, Camden, like, of course we have clients who come to us and maybe they have an idea and it's just something that would be really hard to ship in summer. Like, we had a client who wanted to send chocolate chip cookies in July, right? And so when something isn't logistically feasible, then we like to just come up with something that serves the intent, right? Because a lot of times our clients aren't so stuck on the item that they want to send out. It's the feeling. They're stuck correctly. They're stuck on the feeling they want the recipient to have and the intent and the goal behind the gift. And so we can pitch another product if the feeling that they want is going to stay the same, and that intent is going to stay the same, then our clients are stoked.
All right, you got to tell us what's the summer alternative to a chocolate chip cookie?
Okay, so we went in that case with a juggling themed gift for the client because they were going off of National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, but the month of July is also home to National Juggling Day. And so we put together a really cool gift with juggling balls and scarves and a video about how to learn how to juggle. And the link not only taught you how to juggle, it also got people to the website of our client. And so you're giving, you're making someone smile, and you're getting a chance for the recipients in that case to experience the technology behind the company that we had been working with. And making that gift, we got to practice our own juggling here in the studio and found out that we're terrible.
Yeah, that takes a lot of practice. I know Patrick and Sierra have been working on that, and Patrick is much further ahead than Sierra is at this point. But the aspect of the fun is something I think is so cool about it, and really, and from my perspective, that means to me the juggling whole concept. Even though I love chocolate chip cookies, love chocolate chip cookies. But the whole aspect of everybody getting the juggling kit, I could just picture that, the laughter, the emotions where, you eat a chocolate chip cookie and it's like, dang, I want another one. It's not the same feeling that you get. So that's really cool how you were able to help them arrive at that. What's the strangest thing that you've got? Because by the way, if you've been living in a box, folks, and don't know this, every day on the calendar is a day for something. If you care to find out, I can guarantee that. So what's the strangest thing that a client has come to you and said, make up a box of this?
Okay, two different ideas come to mind, and actually the core of this idea is I think that this is the most brilliant way to do corporate gifting, is around lesser known holidays and off the wall themes, because it's unexpected, it gets people talking. Everyone loves a holiday gift, and we're always going to be our busiest around November and December. But the fact of the matter is we all get a ton of gifts in December, and we're feeling like we rocked it if we remember to send a thank you card for every single gift that we received during that time. But if you get a gift in the middle of February or the middle of June, I mean, that's going to really stand out. It's going to be the coolest thing you got that week and that month. And so from a messaging perspective, it's good strategy. But it's also really fun for us and for our clients to get to brainstorm in these ways. And so we did a really cool gift last year around National Watermelon Day, where everything in the gift was themed around watermelons, and that was a blast. We also worked with a client that was celebrating a really big anniversary, and they wanted everything in their gift to be something that lasts forever, because that was the story that they were telling about their own company and the longevity that, they were hoping for. So, I mean, they were such a fun client to work with. And we ended up including Twinkies, a can of Spam, whiskey glasses, honey, these things that last forever. And I'm sure it brought a smile to everyone's face. I mean, we were laughing. We've told the story a million times. And the clients that received the gifts, they've probably told the story a million times of the gift they received with the can of Spam and the Twinkies. It's so fun and memorable. So yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to your first question. Like, we get our best ideas from our clients. They are so creative and so open to trying something new.
All right, I got to give a PSA real quick before you go, Ken. Folks that don't know, in your zombie apocalypse kit, have Spam and Twinkies, because Twinkies, it's always nice to have a sweet dessert. So just keep that in mind, folks.
Well, while we're at it, fun facts on the Spam there. You got, nothing better than cooking a piece of Spam on a rock next to a fire, I gotta say. That is a delicacy right there. So, but Torrance, you kind of alluded to this. I'm interested, how do you, because you have such a cyclical nature of your business, talking about November and December, but then you have all of these other holidays where you can play into that a bit more. And if I'm working with Teak and Twine to, do something memorable for my, for whether it's, clients or with my employees, I don't want to do it in December because it's just going to be part of the noise. So how have you worked that into your messaging and your marketing to get people to send gifts in March and April and May?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And what we try to do is share our clients' stories. So we posted the National Watermelon Day gift, for example. It was a fan favorite on Instagram. We have it on our website. We sent out an email about it, or, usually every season we'll put together a blog post and an email with the fun, offbeat gifting holidays that are coming up in that quarter and what we did in that quarter last year, so that it does jog our clients' memories of, oh yeah, we were planning on doing X, but maybe we should consider Y. Maybe we should consider doing something a little bit earlier in the year, or we have a conference coming up and, it might increase attendance if we send out a gift like that. And wow, this company can do all sorts of fun things. So I think showing past projects is always a great way. And the other one is really just understanding that we're not going to fundamentally change how big the holiday season is, right? Like, we can do all of these things, but people love giving gifts around Christmas and around the holidays. And so part of it is accepting that, embracing that, and I'm sure every business owner out there can think of the thing that, oh, I wish my business was a little bit more X, or any business that has seasonality or really huge months, maybe around a launch or a product release, or if you're running courses or memberships, you're going to have the spikes. And so part of it for me as a business owner is just embracing that seasonality and thinking about ways that I can manage expectations and cash flow and payroll in a business that is very Q4 heavy.
That's exciting, and one of the things I was also thinking about as I was prepping for us today was what's the growth been like? It's been a year, year plus, if I remember right, without doing the math and pulling out the calendar. But what's the growth been like? Has it been sleepless nights? Has it been high fives every day? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, Otis. I mean, high fives every day. Tell me that business. No, but that's a great question, especially for us coming out of COVID. We were one of those businesses, I'm sure we chatted about it the last time we talked, that exploded during the 2 years of COVID when everyone was turning to corporate gifting. And as fun as that was, any business owner that is going through explosive growth is thinking, when's it going to end? or what's going to happen when COVID ends, right? And we were actually really lucky to, of course, our growth slowed at the end of COVID, but we were able to continue to grow, which was so exciting. And we just came off of our best Q1 ever, which, believe me, I'm knocking on all the wood with all the conversations out
You
there
got to knock on the teak is what you got
about the
to knock on.
recession and 2023 and inflation and everything. I find myself in a position where, I feel like as a CEO, it's my job to be optimistic, right? And that's my nature too. So that helps. And I am optimistic, and we have seen some really amazing things that just are kind of not in line with the headlines, which is awesome. And I'm going to stay careful and, think about ways that I can stay smart in the coming year and in managing our growth and our profitability, even as we see this, fantastic start to 2023 for the team.
And you kind of referenced it a little bit, the R word, everyone wants to talk about the recession, looming recession, all those kind of things. You see a decline in, disposable income when it comes to households. Are you seeing a similar type of decline? I don't know if corporations would call it disposable income, but I would guess whatever they would call that category, it's probably where you fit in. Have you seen that decline, or has it been kind of like the COVID era still, where it's like, hey, we've got this budget and we've got to spend it?
Yeah, it's been interesting. It really depends on the company. And luckily we work with, hundreds and thousands of corporate clients. And so we kind of hear it all. We have clients who have had a really tough year. We have clients who have gifted with us for 6 years. They're continuing to gift, but at a smaller scale or with a slightly reduced budget. And we have some clients that are coming off of their best year ever and doing bigger sends than they ever have in the past. So it's a really interesting time. We're not hearing the same thing across the board. There's industries right now that are doing really well, and that's always interesting to see during downsides. An exercise that we did as a company going into the new year is we had a brainstorming session during our annual planning where we just brainstormed about a potential recession and ways that new pain points that our clients might be experiencing during this time and how we can actually help with those new pain points. So, for example, a lot of companies have a reduced marketing budget. Okay, what kind of gifting can we do for a marketing company that actually supports them during this time of having a reduced budget? Maybe it is finally outsourcing the gifting that they've been insourcing when they had twice as many people on their marketing team. Maybe it's account-based marketing, which is actually one of the best ways to grow during a recession. And gifting is, that's what we do. We do account-based marketing. Gifting is a part of our own account-based marketing. And we see that it continues to be successful while other ways of marketing, such as Google Ads, which are, still working, but they're getting more, Google Ads are getting more expensive. Meta ads are more expensive. And as companies are seeing that, they're thinking about moving some of that attention to account-based marketing too. And then the other thing is we've expanded our offerings. So this year we started offering kitting and fulfillment services, which basically means companies can send us their leftover swag or their entire swag closet, and we will do the kitting for them. And that's something we've done on and off for clients, but we're marketing it for the first time because we're recognizing, okay, just as we thought about it, a lot of clients bought a ton of branded swag during the COVID years for conferences that never happened, for outreach that was canceled. They still have it in the closet, and they can, if they can get it into a beautiful package or kitted and presented beautifully and fulfilled easily, then actually they can turn these items that aren't serving them right now and turn them into something that's serving them for a very low cost. And that has grown explosively for us this year. So I guess that's my encouraging story for business owners out there as they think about, the word 2 years ago is pivot, and maybe it might be expand this year, expand into something new that is needed and that people want. Maybe it is a slightly budget friendly option or just a different way of selling your services that resonates to the 2023 client.
I'm just laughing because the leftover things. How many water bottles Miss Suzanne has downstairs in the closet that say seniors helping seniors on it? It's like I think they're multiplying in that closet because they never seem the box never seem to go any less. But one of the things I'm interested in your perspective on this.
Yeah.
When your clients perceive a gift box, if you will, do they see it as adding value to their client or as a thank you? Those are two different things in my book.
Yeah, so this was a very interesting learning for us in the past 2 years. We know that from the research done, from our own experiences, from what our clients have told us, that sending thoughtful gifts to clients does increase retention, does increase repeat spend, and does serve positive ROI for the company. And so we thought 2 years ago, let's talk about that in our marketing and messaging. Let's talk about the ROI of client gifting and how, it's part of it should be part of your marketing budget. And interestingly, we didn't see that message resonate as much with our clients. And when we talked to them on the phone, and when we read through the emails that they were sending, when we analyzed the call scripts of our conversations with our clients, they were not talking about ROI. They were not talking about trying to increase retention. They were using words like thankful, generosity, loyalty, gratitude, and was it 0% of the equation in their minds? Like, no, I'm sure they wanted, as we all do, to have amazing client retention and stay top of mind. But that wasn't their number one priority or how they were speaking about corporate gifting, which I just thought was really interesting from a messaging perspective. So we moved our messaging back to gratitude and thankfulness because that's what we were hearing from our clients. And what's awesome about gifting is that you don't have to choose. Like, you can gift from a place of just abundance, like you were saying, and gratitude. And I can also show you some really awesome data that it's going to pay off, which is really cool. You don't have to pick.
Yeah, it's interesting because, there's so many different reasons you could give the gift. Even comes to mind of, you could send a gift for a really petty reason. That's not a great thing, but it's like, hey, haha, I still got you with this one type thing. How do you, or I guess more so talking about all these different ideas, so many times when we talk with business owners, there's the problem of, Dad, as you always call it, the good idea fairy, trying to pull you in all these different directions, sprinkle that dust and, get you excited for all these different things. Your business, you can do a lot of different things. We've already talked about all of these different areas where it's all kind of still in that same vein. What are some things that you recognized were outside of that vein, and how did you recognize that and then choose to not move forward with them?
Yeah, I love that because I think, like a lot of CEOs, I'm the annoying good idea fairy in my company. Yep. And so I think the first way is we run the business on EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. based on the book Traction by Gino Wickham. I recommend it. We love it. It's been 5 years running on EOS. And so one really cool thing that EOS says is once you've decided what your rocks, which is just their word for goals, are for a quarter, you can't change them during the quarter. So I can't come in halfway through Q2 and say, I decided I want to launch something by the end of the month. I have to sit on it, and we can present that as an idea in Q3, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so that helps me sleep on an idea. I can still present it to the team, but it helps, just be able to think about something and for my team to be able to stay focused and feel like they can move forward on a project and not, be affected by my shiny object syndrome. Mm-hmm. And the other way is, part of that is our marketing team has spent a lot of time in the past year actually talking to our clients, talking to clients who are some of our best repeat customers, talking to clients who have ordered from us only once, talking to clients who reached out to us and ended up not ordering from us, and asking them about the entire process. What led them to call us? What led them to choose someone else? What keeps them a client? And that is awesome, because it means that when we're talking about ideas, we have people in the room who can say stuff like, actually, we've talked to clients and this is what they're interested in. And these are what their pain points are. And this is what they're really focused on or looking for. And that does keep us really focused in a cool way, because there have been ideas that we just felt sure were going to be home runs, and they're not at all what our clients are thinking about or what they're looking for. So that was a huge lift on my marketing team to do, and has just paid off so much in dividends with the copy that we write and the products and the price points that we put out, because it's not as much based on our ideas.
Have you
ran into the? You out on something though.
I
want to jump on this, because this is not really calling you out, and like I'm trying to ding you. But I see it as kind of a fun thought. Life as an intel officer, and now you're a CEO, and your job as a CEO is to come up with good ideas, but be willing to take those good ideas and say, all right, the customer says this, the client says that, and go with that, which is very different from an intel officer. How did you make that mental switch that it's okay to not just say, no, this is what I think. This is what, folks, if you don't know, intel officers get paid to tell you what they think the bad guy is going to do. I mean, that's the gist of it, right? So how did you make that mental switch?
Yeah, that's a really interesting parallel that you draw, and I think it's kind of similar to intel, right? I mean, we can think that the bad guy might do something, but our job is to actually look at the imagery, if you're an imagery analyst, or listen to the signals intelligence if you're in that field. Basically, listen to them, right? Just like we're listening to clients and getting the intel from them, as opposed to just doing it based on our beliefs. And I always remember that if I had held on tightly to my idea of what Teak Twine would be, we would have never taken off, because I started this company as a wedding welcome gifting company, and we had a little bit of traction there. Honestly, it was pretty good. But one of my first clients, who was a bride, she ordered some bridesmaid gifts, and then she came back and said, hey, thank you for the bridesmaid gifts, but I work at this big tech company, and we're actually looking for corporate holiday gifts. do you think you could make 300 for us for this holiday season? And in that moment, right, I had to make a decision. Like, I had created this brand around weddings, and I could see, based on clients, not only her, other clients coming to me and asking for corporate gifts, and the volume and opportunity there was clearly high. And so I had to let go of some of the initial ideas of what I was creating. I had to change some of the copy on my website to speak more to the clients who were buying than the ones that I thought were going to be my initial client. And so the entire story of this company is moving towards what clients are looking for. And then when COVID started, clients were asking more for employee gifts than they were for client gifts. And they were asking for event gifts that, wasn't something we'd created specifically for them before. And now they're asking for kitting and fulfillment. And so moving in those opportunities, not from my own shiny object syndrome, but from truly listening to what clients want and thinking, is that something that we could provide really well? And if the answer is yes, heading towards it.
Do you struggle at all with the personal attachment to either the original idea or to one of these specific areas? Because you're talking about, what you're doing is the gifts. Sending out the boxes and putting that all together and that experience. That's all where you're talking or where you're focusing. But then where those gifts are going could be so many different things. We talking about the changes, from COVID to 2023. Look forward another 4 or 5 years, it could be looking completely different again. You're still shipping out boxes with gifts in them, but it could be to completely different types of organizations for different reasons, all of that. Have you had trouble adjusting with that or not getting attached to certain types of things? Or is your focus just on the gifts so you don't really care where they're going?
I love that question. My attachment is to the growth and success of the company, not the gifts, not at all the gifts. And as part of EOS, your company needs to make a core focus. And ours is a joyful gifting experience. And it has been for 5 years. Our core values have been tweaked slightly over the years, but that one has stayed true. Yet on the slide, where we go over that every quarter as a team, at the bottom, we wrote in really big font, the Netflix test. And what we mean by that is the case study of Netflix versus Blockbuster, where Blockbuster saw themselves as a VHS rental company, and Netflix saw themselves as an entertainment company. And because of that broader focus, they were able to pivot and move and listen to their customers as they said, entertainment right now means DVDs in the mail. Entertainment in 2 years means streaming in the cloud, and pivot their entire business model based on what entertainment meant for their customers. And so we check in with ourselves every quarter. Is gifting still the thing that our companies, our clients are looking for help with? And, so far, yes, but we want to stay wide open that could change. And we will stay flexible and we will move with that. It's not crazy for me to think that in 5 years, we are doing majority kitting and fulfillment, or working with companies on Amazon fulfillment, working with product makers on fulfilling their online orders. I mean, I have no idea, but I am open to that.
Yeah, and I think that's exciting when you can think about those things. And I'll reserve my idea to throw it to you when we go back into the green room, because I got a thought. I don't want anybody else to take it from you. That's why I want to share it with you in private. So sorry, folks, you'll have to stick around for another year or two when we have Torrance back on and see if that idea comes to fruition. So
I love it.
Yeah. So as one of the biggest things that I've seen was problem with success is keeping up with it. Uh, and because a 25% growth that first year of business, that means you got two more sales than you did the last year, right? But
Yep.
25% ongoing is extremely difficult. So how do you, and frankly can be positive and questionable as an investor, uh, but how have you maintained the momentum of success?
So for me, and I think for a lot of people, uh, creativity is fueled by commitment. I didn't make that up. I don't know who made that up, but I read it. And as soon as I read it, I realized how true that was for me. I was feeling a little bit burnt out about 3.5 years ago, and I listened to an Adam Grant work life podcast about burnout. And he was like, we figured out the solution to burnout. And as I'm listening to this podcast, I'm just picturing him saying to me that the answer is taking a vacation, maybe a really long vacation on a
Sabbatical. You got to
beach.
take a 90-day
Tell me
sabbatical,
that
right?
that's the thing. And actually, the solution was to double down into your business, especially the meaning behind what you do. And it was not the answer I wanted to hear in that moment, but that's true for me too. Clearly he's done the research and it's true for a lot of people. And so if I'm feeling tired, then instead of taking a break, I actually try to step in. Like maybe it's reading a new book, learning something new, getting my hands a little bit more dirty on one of the teams, helping out with some ABM, doing a little bit of research on a topic. And that usually gets me fired back up again. And as for continual 25% growth, that's not something that we've achieved. Like we grew double, triple digits for 7 years, and we did it last year when COVID ended. And so I did have to think about, man, how does like plateauing sucks. And ultimately this year it was just about coming in and keeping it up. I don't have any grand thing. Like I didn't give up, basically. I kept going. I kept reading. I kept learning. The team kept moving. We kept thinking of new ideas. And then it worked this year. And a lot of the time me and my marketing team spend thinking about things that will work this week and things that take more time. So for example, you think running Google ads is going to get you an immediate return, but SEO or content creation or you guys making this podcast, right? It's about quality and it's slow growth. And so we had the discipline to start early last year, really diving into our SEO strategy and our content strategy. And that little baby plant that we planted and kept watering all year last year, even as we didn't see that immediate hit that like posting on social might get you, we trusted that we were on the right path. And then we're able to like reap some of the benefits this year from that. So sometimes it's about pivoting away from a strategy that isn't working. And sometimes it's about just keeping on moving on a strategy that is working, but takes some time.
I love that because I think it's one of the things that people, when you get frustrated inside of your business so often, you want to look out, you want to look for the vacation, you want to look for those type of things. But the fire that got you into the business in the first place is inside of that business. So you're not going to find it somewhere else. Now, still take some time on a vacation, some time on a beach isn't a bad thing. But when you go back into it, you can find yourself in those areas that do create that fire. If you're stuck, this personal example, if you're stuck in the operation stuff, doing social media and those type of things that you don't love that much, and then you're frustrated, you step out and you start working on some big picture ideas, all of a sudden that fire is right back. And so I think it's being able to find those times of what kind of work can you do to get that fire going again. But what I wanted to mention was that this brings to mind a really interesting analogy that analogy that I've been introduced, but something I'd heard the other day talking about, something on Instagram, but it was talking about marriage. And it's this idea of it is never me versus you, it's us versus the problem. And I feel like that's the kind of approach you want to have with your business. And it's not me versus the business. It's me and the business versus whatever the problem is. And if you approach it like that, you're using the business, using that fire, using your passions to move yourself forward rather than separating yourself from it. Because like you said at the beginning, Torrance, if you separate yourself from it, it doesn't solve anything. If anything, it's just putting a Band-Aid over the problem. Go spend 2 weeks on the beach, you come back, the store is still going to be having trouble. That doesn't solve anything, even if you're a little bit de-stressed.
Yes, I completely agree. I heard on a podcast a couple weeks ago that action is the antidote to anxiety. And that's just true. Like doing the dang thing is always going to help. And you were talking about it's not you versus the business. And if you run a bigger team, it's also not sales versus marketing or ops versus sales, right? And so I've had conversations with the team, and now everyone's been here long enough to see in Q4, our ops team is drowning. In Q3, when we're trying to get a lot of inbound, our marketing team is drowning. In Q4, our sales team is also drowning. And right, so we all have these times where teams need to lean on each other, and we're not so precious about job titles that I won't, write out a Slack and say, off your desk into the production floor, like ops needs a couple of extra hands getting an order out the door today. I don't, it's probably my military background, but I do not understand. That's not my job. Right, Otis? That is not a thing. So that I think really helps too. It helps foster the teamwork of every team is going to have their ups and downs. Inbound's going to be down and marketing's going to be stressed. Then the next week, inbound's going to be up and sales are going to be down. And basically, we all just need to keep that long-term perspective, the idea that it's all of us together, that everybody is doing their best, and that resiliency of it's okay, right? And that's something that I've made a lot of progress on in the past couple of years. I think probably from, having the first year of not being handed 200% annual growth on a silver platter, that my mindset of how the business is doing can't be based on what pipeline looks like today, right? I mean, don't we all as business owners get kind of addicted to whatever dopamine our business feeds us, whether it's refreshing store orders or refreshing, your CRM to look at what the latest in pipeline is, or refreshing QuickBooks to see if an invoice has come through, and getting away from that daily dopamine and to, like you said, Camden, the strategic level tasks that you might not get any dopamine from for 8 months, and you just have to keep chipping away.
That's so cool, and it just makes me think. All right, so when you grab a shovel and help out and start digging, start digging the hole. What's your favorite thing to do? When you leave the CEO bubble and go down to the team. What's the favorite thing?
Easy and very weird. I love taping shipping boxes shut. So I will jump on the assembly line and I'll be like the last person in line whose job it is to like take the shipping box or like put the gift box into the shipping box, close it, tape it shut, and put the shipping label on. And I know exactly why. Like I can break down the psychology of this. It's because I'm taking an action and then I get to place that shipping box in a giant pile of done stuff that's going out the door that day. And it's just the feeling. I mean, when do you get this pile that just says done? And it's like a physical emblem of the work that you've done, which as a CEO, you so rarely get. I mean, it's immediate, it's physical, it's visible, it's all the things that my typical work isn't. So that's my go-to.
No, that's so true. I'm the same way. Matter of fact, yesterday I spent some time working on a project in the garage because there's something to be said for not just the physical movement of kind of getting your fingers dirty, but saying, "Look at that, that's done. I'm done." Look, yeah, because most of the time, strategy. You don't see results of strategy. You type up your strategic plan, your vision, all those sort of things. They're great and you got to do it. But man, there's nothing like a nice task that you complete and you set it over in a pile with all the other things and tasks that you've done. You go, there it is. I've done that.
Completely agreed.
So there's one other question I wanted to make sure I asked was, what is, and we kind of already talked, the orders that you couldn't quite do, the chocolate chip cookies in the middle of July, that type of thing. Has anyone come with more, what's coming to mind is like the luxury type, and I this is a absolutely absurd example. I don't know if anyone's out there trying to do this, but like the equivalent of you're talking some huge $1 billion company, Jeff Bezos trying to send out cars to people. And, it's like, hey, we need the keys to get there. We need this, like these like super, super high level. Because when we talk about your operations, if you're ordering a $10 glass that you're shipping out, engraving and then shipping out versus a $300 glass that's a lot fancier, doesn't change your side that much. Have you had any pushes from clients like that or anything? Sorry, I'll rephrase it. I just want another crazy story of some gift or something. That's what there's the end of it.
There you go.
I love it. Well, I don't like saying no, but if someone wanted to send out cars to clients, I would probably be forced to say that we were not the right fit for that person. But we have had clients with just amazing, like 4-figure budgets where, it's not going to be snacks in a box. We really have to think outside the box and think about something really impactful for them. One that comes to mind is we worked with the Wall Street Journal 2 years ago, and they had the most incredible creative vision for this gift that they wanted to send out to an incredible roster of folks to watch the Wall Street Journal basically annual awards event virtually. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted movie theater experience in a box, but taken to the highest level that movie theater in a box could possibly be taken. And it was such a challenging project creatively. I mean, from a packaging perspective, I learned so much about materials and boxing. And, we ended up creating something that was basically the size of a suitcase that was wrapped in leather, that was debossed, that had incredible products inside, and just the care in how the packaging was custom created. So that was a challenging, but really a project that I'm really proud of in how that ended up coming together. And I love something like that where I get to do research on a vendor or a method or an art, frankly, that I get to learn more about how that works. And that was a really, really a fun one for sure.
That's so cool. And I'm sorry, but all I kept thinking of when Camden was trying to come up with how to ask the question with the car was Oprah Winfrey. And, you get a car.
Exactly.
You get a car.
That's exactly what's playing through my head of like, okay, how many Porsches are we shipping now? Do you get the car there, or do you just send the keys and then they go get the car, or what goes on with that? So
I love it. Well, there are so many amazing vendors and artists out there who are creating things. I mean, gone are the days where a branded mug means like the mug, right? I mean, we did a project with a company a couple months ago, and each mug was handmade by an artist in North Carolina, had clouds hand painted on the outside of the mug. And this is for a corporate gift. So it's so cool to see our clients valuing art and things that do cost more and take time, and we're getting asked for that, which is really awesome. I mean, Camden, I think one of the most luxurious things that we put in boxes or send out on behalf of clients are things that are made by hand, really. Whether it's ceramics or leather products or hand-carved wood items. I mean, we're working with some really amazing artists who take months to complete a project for us, and the results are incredible.
I was going to ask
cool.
if you'd consider bringing somebody in-house for that, but I guess you tie your hands too much, because even if you get the perfect person, they might not work with these other materials or the other type of things. The best thing you could do is keep it open with all of those different vendors, right?
Yeah, I love that idea. But one of the cool things that we have, exactly what you're saying, with being able to work with anyone, is we can work with anyone. Like, a question we get all the time from clients is, do you have a catalog of every single product you carry? And we basically say, like, if you can buy it, we carry it, right? Like, and we've worked with a ton of clients, like vendors just once, right? I mean, a ceramicist in Australia that specializes in a certain type of ceramics, or a wood carver that does a beautiful gold and turquoise inlay. I mean, we might not work with that person a ton, but like when it's right and you find the exact person who can just knock it out of the park for a client, it's so cool.
Man, yeah, and I love that, and it brings me to what I learned, and I thought this was really interesting, was the fact that there was more gratitude than adding value. And I thought that was really interesting. I mean, gratitude does add value, but in a direct sense, in that, using the language is different, because adding value, I mean, truthfully, adding value generally speaking, leads to ROI, all right? But a graciousness, a gratitude, a thankfulness in the sense of the gift is so much different, and that's I thought that was really an interesting point. So, Camden, how about you? What'd you learn?
Yeah, really, for me, it's Torrance, what you said of the creativity is fueled by commitment. The connection that my mind made on that is to a line from Sun Tzu and Art of War that we've talked about a bunch, but it's, give your enemy a golden bridge on which to retreat. What you're talking about with that line is you don't have that golden bridge. And the reason Sun Tzu says to give your enemy one is because they won't fight as hard. If you remove it for yourself, it's that burn the ships time moment. When you're committed on it, you will find the solution because you don't have another choice. So I really love that of just, doubling back down into it. I don't remember the phrasing you used, Torrance, but the one I've used before is work beats worry. Like, all of those different things are just such important things to be reminded of in your business. So that's it for me today.
I love that. Well, I loved our conversation today, and what I learned was a little lighthearted maybe, but I have actually never tried Spam, and I've definitely never tried it heated on a rock by a campfire, but apparently it's delicious and a must. So, I'll have to put it on my bucket list for the year.
I'm challenging you to go to the grocery store today, buy you a can of Spam.
Okay.
Open it up, shake it out, You got to kind of,
You got to shake it out.
It doesn't come out. It doesn't just come out. You got to work it out, right? That's part of the fun with Spam. Then it's going to go plop. Then you're going to slice it. Slice it about a 1/4 inch. Folks, you can email me for the recipe here in a second. But slice it about a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
And just fry it. Put it on a skillet. Iron skillet's better. Put it on a skillet. Fry it. Get it just a little crunchy on the outside. It's a good snack.
I
While we're
love
doing
it.
spam
Challenge
recipes,
accepted.
while we're doing spam recipes, come on. I was gonna say bachelor staple, but I guess the mom out of town staple growing up: Kraft mac and cheese with spam and green peas. And oh my gosh, that is a meal right there.
That's right. That's the dad one pot meal, folks. That's what that
Yes,
was.
sir. Well, before
Torrance,
you go
how
wrap
folks,
that,
find you? What's it?
oh, I was just gonna say we gotta give Torrance all her flowers, gold stars, because even with all of our repeat guests, she anticipated that she was next for the What I Learned, which we tell everybody, but nobody actually jumps on it like that. So, round of applause. 250 some shows, first person to really do it like that.
Awesome.
Well, Torrance, how do folks find you? Learn what they can do with some gift giving, get some better ideas for how they can be grateful and gracious to their team and their clients.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. And we do something really cool, which is book a call and get a free gift. So if you want to chat with our team, and that doesn't mean you have a project in mind or you're ready to send gifts. If you just want to brainstorm like ways that you can incorporate gifting into what you do as a company, whether it's internal or external gifting, chat with a member of our team and we'll just brainstorm ideas with you, whether it's gifting or not. And you can send something really nice to yourself. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Our marketing manager, Molly, is hilarious. She is so funny. She finds the best gifts ever. So you can find us there on LinkedIn and laugh along.
Awesome. Well, Torrance, it has been great having you back today. We really enjoyed catching up with you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, both of you. Great chatting today.
Camden, run us out.
All right. Thank y'all for listening to the Cam Otis Show, and a special thanks to our guest, Torrance Hart, for joining us again today. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to pass it along to someone else so they can enjoy it too. Make sure to follow the Cam Otis Show on Facebook and Instagram, and you can watch full videos of the show on our YouTube page. And while you're there, make sure you hit that subscribe button too. As always, the full archive of our episodes available at www.camandotisshow.com. Thanks again, and we'll see y'all next time.